Hello and welcome along to the start of the fifth and final season from this FM20 Build a Nation story, Climbing with Cliftonville, with me, Daniel. It's part 45 and today we're back for a transfer special and to reflect on a start of a European campaign that has gone very well. You can see a couple of the results up the top, avenging a wrong from last season for those that have been following regularly, but that wasn't as comfortable as it looked either. So we will get to that. We've got loads of transfer news, a couple of disappointments, and of course a bit more in terms of staffing, and we're going to look at the Irish League as well. Have they managed to keep up with what we've been trying to do? You may have noticed a few little bits of information dotted around, such as the return of Conor McDermott in the notable criticisms for wages paid, and a couple of other little bits as well. But firstly, if you are looking forward to this one and the last season with Cliftonville, please do put a thumbs up on the video. How far can we go in Europe and what can we achieve? That's the big question before FM21. If you want to stay up to date with this season and all of the content coming up from FM21, please do subscribe down below and turn that notification bell on. You'll get alerts as daily content releases on the channel, including 2 long-term stories from FM21 and a live stream series which during the beta will run nearly every single day. So get your eyes over to the community page, Discord and Twitter to find out more about those. But today, all of the focus is on Cliftonville, as we've got transfers to get through ahead of a big tie against Astana. So let's start, as we always do, with the release players, because that's where some of the actions come this summer. Because bigger names have been going out than before, because we've had bigger names at the club. There's loads of players who we're getting offers for, and it's something that we've probably struggled with the dynamic of for the first time in this series, is players wanting to leave for other clubs. Because even our squad players, they're not playing for us, and then they're getting big offers from the Championship and League One. And that's something we haven't had to contend with before. So we've kept hold of them all for now, but a couple are slightly concerned. And I've tried to avoid using that wage budget. So I sat for weeks on players who we potentially agreed to loan in for 10 or 15 grand a week. I didn't want to do it because I don't want us to fall apart financially. It's important that this club is viable and invests in the right way. So let's go to the transfer history and see what we've done. So released players include some big names for the first time. Shane Ferguson left the club at the end of his contract. We knew that would happen. Didn't really feature after January, but provided some massive moments for us in Champions League qualifying last year, and in also that Tunnock's Caramel Wafer Cup semi-final winner. He contributed to me winning that trophy that meant so much. So fair play to him. We'll remember him fondly. He's unattached at the moment, as is Robbie McDade. We bought him in early last season due to an injury crisis. He was just available on a free, versatile and okay. It looks like he's going to Crusaders now, who have put in a bid for him. And don't forget, they're down in the second tier after last season. Institute, who finished second the year before, and Crusaders, both relegated from the Danske Bank Premiership. So they should be coming straight back up. In terms of the next ones, it's a couple of youngsters. Stephen Logue and Glenn Taggart, very scarcely featured for us. Billy Wilson did play a few games last year. He's moved on and he's gone to Larne as a backup striker now, actually. He played 1 league game for us last year, but also made 4 cup appearances and scored 1 goal as well. Got an assist too. He's done a good job, so fair play to him. He'll be playing in a Premiership as a backup this year. We'll get to the reason why in a moment. Joe Gormley, an end of an era after 2 years on loan at Yeovil. He's gone at 33. Similar across a lot of clubs, really. Those who started the game on big 3 or 4 year contracts at other clubs. I'm thinking of Rory Donnelly at Glentoran as another example. All of those guys getting released this summer. And it's meaning a bit of a changeover in the Irish League. So some squads look weaker on paper. Some have got brilliant youngsters coming through. And some will probably be making a late move for players like this. We'll wait and see if that happens. And then finally, Conor McLaughlin, the only one I wanted to keep out of those who have been released. He rejected a new deal, then he wanted double the money. So in the end, we replaced him. We brought Conor McDermott back, but that hasn't quite worked out either. So we'll get to that in a moment. But Conor McLaughlin, not willing to come back. And he, after 46 caps for Northern Ireland and 46 league appearances for Cliftonville, is on his way out and is now a free agent. So hopefully someone tries to sign him. But let's move on to the cash transfers, because they're the big ones. For us, it's largely frees and loans again. But let's have a look at what's gone on the other side, because there is one standout attraction. And there it is. Larne have signed one of our front 4 for £300,000. So it's our backup striker, Stephen Thompson. He's of course not going to get into our side. He was 4th choice behind Hepburn Murphy, Idar, and of course also Connor Crawford, who broke through. We then had the option to bring in Calvin Falconer because it looked like he was going to England. We mentioned him from Institute, so he joined the club very early on. And then when we got this offer for Stephen Thompson, we just knew we had to do it. He was 4th choice. We got an easy replacement in former Linfield man Shane Lavery. Similar quality up front. So let's get Stephen Thompson to play first team football for Larne. 300,000 is massive money for us. It's still a great deal. And he is going to be first choice on £2,500 a week for what should be our closest title rivals. More importantly than anything he's done for us, he has scored 3 goals in 4 games in the Europa Conference for Larne. And as a result of that, we'll reflect on their run more in a minute. They're in the 3rd qualifying round. They're going to go out to Olympiacos, but again, the coefficient helped by 2 further victories. Cardiff Met Uni and Jetsu put to the sword. Fair play to Stephen Thompson, he was crucial to that. So well done to him and well done to Larne. They've put in another big bid for one of our players and this time it's pulled off. We also accidentally activated Lee Hodson's 1-year extension last year by playing him in a 5th league game. He has been sold to Glenarvan though, who wanted him in. So he'll do a job for them. He played in the Europa Conference. Not quite the same level of success there, I think it's fair to say. But he'll be a good squad player at this level, good experience and a good personality. 2 youngsters out on loan, one to our feeder club and one to another 2nd tier side. And then Connor McDermott, who we'd bought back in the summer, has gone on loan to Glenarvan as well. So Hodson and McDermott there, I'm not sure how that'll work out. What we'd essentially done is bought McDermott in as our backup. But then when Glenarvan put interest in him for a loan deal, the same as previously, our job here is to strengthen the nation. Giving McDermott to another club after Larne inexplicably released him gives us that opportunity. So we've loaned him out and then we've just gone and got another right back as a backup. We can afford to do that, other clubs can't. So our best backup players normally go into other clubs and then we're replacing them with anyone we can find. And there's one massive name on the ins in addition to the signing of Faulkner. So let's go through them. It's the bit we're all waiting for in the transfer special. So let's start with that man from Institute who had been somehow relegated with him up front. 7 caps for Northern Ireland now. Calvin Falconer joins us as a centre forward. He scored 2 goals in the Champions League already, 4 appearances off the bench. And he's a superstar. 2.5 star ability, 3.5 potential. Just behind Idar and Crawford at the moment. Basically replacing Hepburn Murphy as the best of the rest. We've got Shane Lavery in as well. But Falconer is going to be an absolute star. The best of Northern Irish young strike force is here at Cliftonville. Then is Connor McDermott. We bought him back. We've talked about that story already. He's now on loan at Glenarvan. So 350 quid a week. They're paying all of it. A good fullback who obviously was here previously. And we wish him the best at the other Irish League side. Liam McCarran was the first permanent signing that stayed this summer. He came in from Leeds having completed his contract. 1.7 grand a week for a left winger. We lost Glenn Middleton who went to Cardiff on a pre-agreed deal. And then obviously on the left wing we had Ferguson and Naismith, both who have left during the last season. So now Liam McCarran is the main man. 3-star potential, 2.5 ability and a good young player. So pretty similar stats to Middleton, maybe slightly behind. But he comes in to start the season. We've then got Shane Lavery, who is a direct replacement for Stephen Thompson. You can see it was all arranged on the same day. Once Lavery had agreed to join, we knew we could let Thompson go. 2-star ability, 3-star potential, and very much a backup. A good player, a squad player, but will do a fantastic job in the league when called upon. Was of course top scorer when Linfield won the division in the first season of the Save. Then we're on to a big name, Craig Cathcart. We were really struggling for centre-halves. Branthwaite and McDonald both went back to their parent clubs. They weren't willing to loan them back and they're still not. They're still saying they want to play with higher quality players. Saul Shotton's here, McLaughlin's here, but he's unhappy and he's getting loads of interest from other clubs. And we couldn't get any good loanees in at the time. So we brought Craig Cathcart in. He's experienced, he's a brilliant leader for a mentoring group, which if McLaughlin goes, we need to have. And he just strikes me as a really good player to have around this season. A bit like what we did with Sammy Khedira and Gary Cahill in previous years, but this guy will be closer to the first team. He'll play a lot of the league games, and mentally he's fantastic. So for me, Craig Cathcart, a good signing. Let me know if you agree. 79 caps for Northern Ireland. Either way, it's a big draw. Then, a man who's been linked with Luton in real life and has joined the club now, Gabriel Osho. He has joined us for 1.8 grand a week as well. A squad player released from Coventry. In fact, was he at Reading? He was at Reading. All of the other spells were loans. So released the 24-year-old Nigerian, he's made one appearance for them. He's picked up 2 injuries already, which does worry me, but lots of EFL experience, a good solid player, and he'll be in and around the squad. No problems with him coming in. But then a couple of weeks later, we did find that high-quality centre-half, and it's a familiar face, Nathan Wood from Arsenal. So you'll remember not last season, the one before, he was our star centre-half, and he will do so again this year. He's now a highest ever paid player of 4,300 in wage contributions, but 3-star ability, 5-star potential, and he'll get better quickly. He's a brilliant player. In fact, all the defensive coaches rate him 3.5. So similar to McDonald last year, and he's going to be brilliant. We know exactly what to expect from him, and we're looking forward to working with him again. Kyle McAllister was the next one, another left winger on this occasion. Can play naturally on the right or as a number 10 as well. 2.5-star ability, 3-star potential, Scottish under-21 international. And he's going to be a competitor for the left wing. In actual fact, matching up the attributes and the wagon wheel, he's better than Middleton. So we'll see if he becomes first choice as the season goes on. Last season spent his time with Stevenage. And then finally, because we loaned out Conor McDermott, Josh Hare has come in. He's just a backup right back. Relatively modest wage, solid attributes across the board. I just knew I needed to have someone solid here. I could have gone without, but Nico Williams last year and the year before was probably the most injury-prone player in the first 11. So having Josh Hare in just means for one season, we've got a solid backup who can play the league games. And that's all I was really looking for without raiding another Northern Irish club. So I think in Josh Hare, job done on that front. So of course, as well as those signings, we have kept a number of loan players on. Harvey Elliott did agree to stay, slightly increased wages, but just as important as before, you can see 7 goal contributions in Europe already, 2 goals and 5 assists. Finley Robertson, we'd already talked about keeping on. Tommy Doyle, he managed to stay on for another year, similar wage contribution, no further problems with him. Nico Williams is here. We actually had a permanent offer accepted again, but he wanted £7,000 a week. And while we're paying 775 quid, I'm never going to agree to that. Gavin Bazunu stays in goal. All of the other targets were unaffordable in terms of wages. And in this guy, we've got quality. We've got consistency. He stays with us and he's a very low wage. Adam Idar, another one we had a permanent deal accepted for. He wanted £12,000 a week. So not going to happen. Next summer, we might think about setting Cliftonville up, buying them some players, and then doing a 5 years in the future, depending on whether FM21's out or not. But for me, he's been really good. He's scored 6 goals already in a Champions League, but he stays on loan only for this season. Dennis Sirkin, we knew was staying, no contributions for him. Solid backup left back, and if Mark Lyons forces his way out, a natural replacement. And then Nathan Wood, who has of course joined the club. Connor Mitchell back from his loan at Glenarvan as a backup goalkeeper. It all looks pretty good. Everyone's fit, everyone's doing well, and we've got a pretty strong squad. So I think we're in a good position. We've got staffing changes as well, and there's a bit of action in the Northern Irish window. So let's go and look at the staffing. So, I mean, you can already see the staffing team growing. There's one addition to the coaching team, and then a big change. So let's start with the addition, which is Ben Wilkinson. He was the Morecambe manager last year and had been a coach at Manchester City. He's a brilliant reputation, brilliant coach. He's young, he wants a low wage. He's a brilliant man to bring in. Doesn't quite fit the usual personality we're looking for now. But technically as a coach, he was just too good. We had to get him in, and he's going to be working with us this year. But the big change is the director of football. We say goodbye to former goalkeeper and former director of football, Richard Brush. He is now a goalkeeping coach looking for his next move. And we say hello to David Moss, who we poached from Northampton. 54 years of age, £1,000 a week. Excellent judging of ability, good judging of potential. A perfectionist, very determined, a decent negotiator. He has everything we could have wanted. 7 years experience at Celtic, 1 at Huddersfield and 3 at Northampton. You can't ask for much more at this level. He is going to be crucial to this football club. We did add John Sutton as well. It's one that I forgot to mention. It happened just around the cup final at the end of last season. A second fitness coach who is high quality as well. Something we're always looking for, really. And all in all, we couldn't be much more pleased with how we've worked this summer. We're really pleased with how it's gone. There was frustration not having a centre-half early on. And if we go and have a look at our Champions League qualifiers so far, you'll see why it was a little bit annoying. If we go to the schedule, we had Vardar in the first qualifying round. We let in 2 absolute belters. Kelvin Falconer got a goal off the bench, Harvey Elliott a late winner, and Tom Lindley an early goal. He had to start on the right due to injuries. But we did nick it, and you can't ask for much more really. 2 screamers you can concede any day, but with a stronger back 4 midfield, possibly we didn't let them in. However, the second leg is the most remarkable game I've probably ever had in Football Manager. Now, we've had some big wins, 12-0 against Glentoran in this save. Lots of friendlies you win by double figures when you're a big Premier League side. But in a Champions League qualifier against an okay Vardar side, we won 15-1. Now, Adam Idar had scored 6 goals in half an hour. Connor Crawford had scored 1, McCarran and McLaughlin as well. We were 8-0 up. Then they got a red card, or 7-0. It was 8 for the penalty from the red. And then after that we continued. Falconer, Kane, Elliott, Doyle. Who's the other one we've missed? 2 more for Connor Crawford. It was a brilliant second half performance too. 15-1 and we got through comfortably. Then we played Dundalk. Now the side that obviously beat us in the All-Ireland Champions Cup final last year. They did it quite comfortably as well. We thought in this game we would probably have to show the second leg. Josh Georgi, a former Dorking hero, did give them a chance, but we were already 2-0 up at that point. It was Connor Crawford and Tommy Doyle with the goals, as we took a 1-goal advantage into the home tie. Now, it looks comfortable here. 3 second-half goals, a hat-trick for Connor Crawford, a 3-0 win. Looks like bish bash bosh, job done. Not the case. If I show you the stats, 1, Dundalk had the better of the match overall. 1 more shot, 1 less on target, 1 more off target. Possession was even, and there was only 1 clear-cut chance, which shows how good Connor Crawford was. After half an hour, that was 6 and 4 shots and on target for Dundalk, and 2 and 0 for us. It really was dominance the first half an hour. I don't know how we held on, but we did. And in the second half, Connor Crawford produced magic, and that's what we need. The David Healy of our team is doing the job for us. And fortunately, Northern Ireland's got another hero in Connor Crawford. So I think going into this Astana tie, there's an awful lot to look forward to for our team. They have got some real players. They're 3.5-star reputation as a football club. If we look at the competitions and the schedule, I just want to know what they've been in really. So they beat the Hungarians last round. That was a good performance. They got to the knockout round of the Europa Conference last year and got battered by Dynamo Kiev. They were in the Europa League group stages and finished 3rd ahead of Rijeka. That's pretty impressive. And they got to the Champions League playoff round. That's something we haven't done for a while, or we've only done once, I think. Last year they got knocked out in the second qualifier, the third the year before, and they got to the Europa League group stages the first season. So they're a pretty established side in Europe, and it's going to be a really tough test. I don't know what their greyed out players will be like. They've got 1 real player on $7,000 a week. He's rated good as a striker. In terms of other players, they're not great. Oh, they're okay. It's just the goalkeeper who's not great. Everyone else seems to be pretty good. So I think that's going to be a pretty close match. We'll be back for that in the next episode, of course. Astana away and then Astana at home. We'll play Ballymena off camera in between, as we want to make sure that our final season in Europe is a memorable one. Having reached the 3rd qualifying round, of course, we are guaranteed group stage football in one competition or another. But which one will it be? That's what we're going to find out over the next 2 episodes. As a very quick roundup before we finish in terms of the other teams, Stephen Fallon has just signed for Ballymena, having left Linfield, another one of those that was on a longer term deal. Daniel Larmet, a young player, to Glentoran. A couple of loanees from Derry City to Coleraine. Must be some sort of feeder deal, happens quite a lot. Early in the window, Billy Wilson and Stephen Thompson, of course, into Larne. They haven't really made any other big signings, bar Thompson. You could argue they didn't need to with their squad. Thompson and Ronan Hale are very good strike force though. If we go a little bit further down, just see if there are any other big ones. A young goalkeeper, Tony Craig to Ards, who looks very good in my book. And former Linfield man, Josh Robinson, the centre half. Larne also signed Lewis Baines, who is a central defender on $3,000 a week. He looks very good actually. And Lewis Baines, where's he come from? He's gone direct from Forest Green. So he's an English player that's never played in Northern Ireland before. And Larne have naturally picked him up. That, I think, is probably a really positive sign. Conor McMenamin from Blackpool to Glentoran. I missed that one. Oh, brilliant news. Glentoran have got McMenamin back in the Irish League. That's a very good signing. I like that. Niall Quinn to Ballina Millard scored a spectacular own goal against us a couple of years ago. Let's just go down to the start of the window now. Lee Lynch to Ballymena, a decent Irish midfielder. Ross Clark, a decent Northern Irish winger. Experienced, on possibly slightly past their best, but still doing a good job. I don't think I've missed any more big ones. Let me know if I have. There's a couple of decent young players moving between clubs on a free agent deal. Kevin Coughlin, one of the best youngsters at Larne, he's gone off to St Pat's Athletic. That's a worry. But otherwise, it's been an okay window. Sides bringing in players, they're trying to strengthen. Glenarvan obviously taking a couple off our hands. They got Gareth Dean in as well, the goalkeeper, which is probably why they didn't want Mitchell back. But it's looking good. It's gradually improving, and we just know we need to help out. When our squad players have interest from other clubs, we send them as long as they're in our division. So it is shaping up gradually. We will do a look in the future if we finish this season early. But for massive thank you for following along for the start of a new season. A big transfer special. Let me know what you think of our squad heading into this new season. Do you think we can cause a shock against Astana? Or will it be the end of the road? Whichever way, we've got a playoff in Europe to come. And group stage football will follow it. What competition it will be is the question we can't answer yet. So we'll be back for Astana next time out. But if you did enjoy this one, please do put a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe to the channel for daily FM20 content from this story. Live streams on Tuesday morning at 10 AM. And FM21 just around the corner. Head over to the community page, Discord and Twitter to find out all of the announcements for FM21. There will be a recap video at some point this week. And a massive thanks for watching as always. I really do appreciate it. And I'll see you next time for the big Champions League game.